Hello and welcome to Cutter Farms. We're back with another episode of UMRV Upper Mississippi River Valley, and today we're going to be doing a handful of odd jobs. First off, I am going to be spraying a little bit of nitrogen on these grass fields that we just cut. Got to keep them in good shape so we're getting the highest yields. And then we had just started trying to spread some lime over on this field across the creek here that you can see, and we made it around on the headland pass and I realized I didn't have enough lime, so we're going to be jumping over and tackling that job here as well. I've got a semi headed up to the co-op to get a little bit more lime for us to spread on these fields because the pH level has gotten pretty bad here and I am not getting very far on my spraying. What is going on? Activate automatic application rate. Let's try that. That should work just a little bit better. We were on contractor mode there, being a little bit cheesy to finish off a field. I wasn't sure I had quite enough to make it across the last round of the field, and I didn't want to have to run up and get some more fertilizer, which we ended up having a bunch more fertilizer sitting in the barn up here anyway. We could have gone ahead and used that. So I got back to the farm, realized I needed some more fertilizer anyway, and we've got another tank or so here, or another pallet or so here in the tank, and it seems to be working out pretty well for us. Now, since we didn't do a great job on the first pass down here, I'm really hoping that the precision farming mechanics are going to let me keep spraying on this area that we've already sprayed. It looks really awkward that it's shutting off the spray pattern, but I'm still obviously updating the ground underneath me. This is just one of those wonky things, I suspect, because we had just sprayed it. I don't know exactly why it's doing this, but it is what it is. We've adjusted the fertilizer levels successfully, so I'm not going to complain. And oh, we're clipping the house. Oh, that's terrible. I think the only part we've got left to do is this little bit before I realized we weren't spraying the full width. Luckily, this field is pretty easy. It's one round and we're done with this big sprayer. And that is a wrap. I'm going to check. I think I missed just a smidge maybe over here around this tree. If I can sneak around this. Nope, we're going to crash right into it. There we go. The one dot that was down there that I had actually missed. It's all taken care of now. Let's get this guy ran back over into the yard. I'm going to park it over here since we do have to spray that field up next. And if I just real quick pull up this map, I think I've got fields 4 and 5 already. I don't think there's anything for me to do over there. I think what I'm going to do is just park this right up here in this driveway. I don't think we're going to need it. We might need to get the semi through here, actually. Well, let's pull this around. I suppose anywhere that I've already spread the lime is safe, but I'll put it down here a little bit closer to the shed just to make sure we're out of the way. And our semi has definitely made it down here to the bulk fill area. Now I just need to figure out which one of these is going to get me some lime. I'm really hoping that this will do both, but we're gonna check the map just to be sure. Yep, it'll do lime, so we're gonna start filling that up. And hopefully, sometimes I have some trouble filling this truck. Hopefully this is going to work out pretty well for us. But I'm going to go ahead and top this entire truck off. And if we have a little extra lime left over, that'll be just fine. I'm going to have to take out a little bit more of a loan. We've been doing really good on the loan. We've paid down $320,000 of the loan at this point, thanks to a combination of some leftovers from selling all of our crops. We didn't quite use all of that when we bought the land last episode. And then also we have done a handful of spraying contracts off camera just to get a little bit of extra cash in the bank. Anytime I see a spraying contract over 20K, I'll usually run the sprayer down there and set a worker off on knocking that field out while I'm feeding cows or doing some other mundane task off camera. And with the last of these hoppers full, I'm going to go ahead and see if our worker can handle driving this thing back up to the farm for us as well. I don't anticipate any problems here. And I guess while he's doing that, we might as well start spraying this field. I can't think of any reason why we can't spray it. If I do overwrite the lime pattern, I'm still sure that precision farming is going to help me make sure that we're putting the right amounts on, even if I can't quite do it as easily visually. That's my only, I guess, a worry at this point. Yeah, so it's going to make all the lime go away here, but the pH levels will still be adjusted on the field. I'm not going to fret about it too much. I should be able to manage my driving and such just looking down at the mini map, and I'm doing a terrible job of getting over to the edge of the field here. We'll overlap a little bit more. I'd rather make sure we hit all the grass than have little bits that we've missed. Always drive me nuts if we're not maximizing our yields when we could have been. And we're wrapping up this part of the field just in time. I can see our semi coming down the road up there with the lime that we need to wrap up our pH spreading out here, get things back to normal. Let's go ahead and fold this sprayer up and get it off of the field. I think we hit all the parts that needed to be hit. At some point I need to get out here with a survey tool and actually survey the last bit of that field since we've redone it with the tree. I might be able to just buy the survey map again. I don't know. They were rather expensive though, so I prefer not to do that if I can get away with it. And here is the semi. Let's see if I can get this into the yard without it crashing into a fence. The AI driver probably could have done a better job of this than me, but where's the fun in that? Oh, we're making it. I think we're making it. Perfect. We might be a couple gears too high, so let's balance that out. And now all I gotta do is get this back here and unload it into the spreader. Hopefully we can get that thing topped off. I don't remember what the balance of lime from this trailer is to the spreader itself. If we're gonna have a lot to go or if this is gonna have some leftovers in it. I just don't know. 57.28 cubic yards in here right now. Let's see if I can remember how many we have total by the time I'm done with this. I'm really hoping I can just move this auger over to my left here and then I'm close enough. Yeah, it looks like I actually lined up right about the right space apart. I'm just gonna pull up here and see if it'll start unloading. Perfect. So there's one hopper into it. Let's go ahead and move it to the second hopper, see how far this gets us. Looks like that spreader's getting pretty full. Yeah, 2 hoppers. Looks like we almost perfectly filled up the spreader. I'm kind of curious what the percentage is over here. 88%. Okay, not quite. So we'll go ahead and fill out of the third hopper until the spreader is completely full, just because that way we're not monkeying with anything when we don't need to be. I think this should be enough to get us through the rest of this field, since the headland is, I feel like, almost 50% of the field, and we had a half a tank in here to start with, but we'll see. Like I said at the beginning of the episode, I feel like I always underestimate how much lime we need for a field, so this will be very telling to see how far we can get. Now with this, I am going to enable GPS, I think, and we'll create a GPS line. I don't know what angle I'm on right now. I'm on some random angle. That's fine. We're gonna just go with it, and I will GPS along this random angle across our field all the way through it, and it should work out just fine. We've already done the headlands, so at this point I'm just trying to get through the bulk of the middle of this field as fast as possible. I think this spreader will pretty much go as fast as I can handle pulling it, so if I've got the horsepower, we might as well speed things up. I was going a little slower than I needed to there. I think I'll try and go all the way to the end if I can. Whoa, get the GPS to turn off. The GPS doesn't always come off the easiest with this setup for some reason. And we'll go right back into this row. Perfect. This is working out really well for us for a change. We've cleaned up the last little bits on this end of the field. I think what we're going to do, since we're so close, is go back down to this end, all the way into the corner here by the creek, and we'll take this last sliver all the way down the field. Always interesting to try and navigate on the side of this hill sometimes. There we go. Looks like we're going to catch it perfect though. And yeah, this is our last pass here. We've got 44%. We'll make it to the end of this field, no problems. Feeling pretty good about that. And I think what we'll do is we'll just top this thing back off before I head over to the other field. That way I don't have to bother running the semi over there. I think we've got plenty of lime in one hopper to do that other field. I feel like that other field is smaller than this one, so that'll be an easy field to run over and do. Let's see if I can get up this field. It's rather steep on this side. I think we still had a little bit in the third hopper, so if I just pull right on under here, it's already filling. Perfect. And then we'll move on to the fourth hopper now, and I'll have just 2 hoppers of lime left afterwards, which is not too bad. We're going to be using a little bit of this pretty soon in some of our other fields, I feel like. I am going to shut the semi off, but I'm going to leave it here just because we can probably top this thing off when we're all done with that other field and have the lime at least stored in the spreader, and leave our semi open to hauling any seed or fertilizer that we're going to need in the spring. We're running over all the cows again. I think one of the things I love most about this map is the fun farm layout, where we're having to drive around all these buildings and different gates and entrances and things. It really kind of makes the farm feel alive to not just have it be a basic boring shape, I'll say. It's interestingly laid out farm. I like it. And here we go. This thing is not quite as wide as the sprayer, but it's a pretty wide implement. It's a little harder for me to judge how far out the spreading pattern is going to go, so we're just kind of winging it. I'd rather overlap and not have to keep circling back to do things, is generally what I've found. And then here, I think what we can do is set that GPS track so that on the way back up, it's a little bit easier and we don't have to guess how far we need to be. Just like so. I'll go ahead and do the whole headland bit here by the creek, I think, just to make my life easier. And nope, the GPS track that would be perfect for us is way over on the other side of that tree, so we'll go ahead and just manually take care of a little bit of this. Don't need to be running down no trees here. And I guess we'll just continue to do this outside headland pass freeform, and then take the final pass back down with the GPS we set up. Sometimes I feel like I'm trying to save myself time, and it just causes me more pain and agony than it's worth when I try to do things like set up these GPS tracks and stuff. I could have just free-handed that and not run into a tree, and I feel like we would have had less hassle than we do now, because I feel like now I have a little tiny bit around that tree that I'm going to have to go back and clean up. But we'll see. We'll see when we get down there. However, the good part of all that is I do have a GPS track I can jump into for the return trip right now. So we'll take advantage of that. And I guess it's not that much of a waste. I'm going to have to get back out of this field anyway. So if I do have a little bit over there that I have to hit on the way back out, it wouldn't have been that bad. But it looks like we managed to get it. No problem. So let's go ahead and spin right on back out of here. I'm going to leave the spreader on just in case I missed a couple tiny bits here and there. Double check around this tree. Everything's looking good. Let's get it turned off and run back up to the farm. Well, I had hoped to get all of the lime out of the semi. Unfortunately, we've got just a little bit of the last hopper left. Nothing to be done about it though, so we're gonna go ahead and put the auger away here. We'll drive this back up to where I park all of my semi-trailers right now, and we'll just have to try and remember we've got a little bit of lime in here. I guess we'll figure it out next time we need lime and grab this truck to go get it and see there's some in here. But the lime spreader is all filled up, which is good. It means next time I want to go do it, we're gonna have some to do. And I know it looks like I'm running into this tank, but I'm not. There's a huge space there. I'm running into an invisible wall. I guess if I didn't cut my turns quite so close, it wouldn't be a problem, but still, not technically a collision. I get into the craziest situations sometimes. Let's see if I can fit this giant tractor through this tiny door. Oh, store isn't as small as I thought. Nice. So with all that work out of the way, I'm just checking up on our cows here. You can see we've got a fair amount of hay lined up. These are the first batch of calves that we've had, so I'm keeping an eye on their puberty. We're about to move time forward. We're at 61%. I want to see how much this jumps up. And then the newest batch of cows is not eating a whole lot. They haven't even worked through that leftover TMR. We've got a lot of hay in there, and I've gone ahead and made up a bunch of batches of feed for this set. This is our productive cows that are actually making the milk every day, and they should have feed for a handful of days now, so I don't have to monkey around with that as much while we're moving the time forward. I do have a few more bales here left to feed into the barns. So let's go ahead and move that time forward. Let's see how the end of the day treats us. And here comes July right there. About, not too nice to us. 12,000, almost 13,000 in loan and lease. And the milk sales are looking good at 23,000. Not too shabby, not shabby at all. So we're gonna slow the clock back down here now that we're through that. Let's check on our feed situation again. This is still looking okay. This is looking fine. This is looking good. It's dropping pretty quick on these, and we're now at 67%. That 12 months, we got another 6 months until we start making more milk, but we're gonna double up on our daily profits when that happens. I'm super excited for that. So by the end of the year here, we're gonna be doubling our profits, which will be a great way to turn over the end of this year. I don't need to do any feeding at the moment. Let's take a look at what this did to our crops. I'm really excited to get into corn silage. It looks like we're not gonna be there in this month though. And so this is the part where we either take on some contracts, which we do have a big contract. I could do a harvesting contract too. What do we got? We got some canola out there. We've got some wheat out here. I wonder if I can take the wheat bales off of their field. That would be interesting. I could use the straw if we could bale that up, even though it's a contract. I think there's a mod for that. Let me look at a few of these though. This is oats. Field 24 for $37,000. What does field 24 look like? This is field 24. That's not too bad. Maybe we'll do that. Let's do that, folks. We're going to grab this field 24 harvesting contract. That's a fair amount of money. And I'm going to see if we've got the mod installed here that's going to let me get straw off of this particular field. Now I've got the combine here, and I know we've got a header for this because we harvest beans on a regular basis. So let's see if I can sneak out of the shed here without running into our mixing tractor. And we'll run over here and grab that bean head and get this combine cranking on this contract. And we'll have to run some other equipment out there, which is not a problem. We need to be getting this stuff set up for harvest anyway. And I don't think we're going to be doing a whole lot of corn harvesting the traditional kind anyway. We're going to be silaging probably all of the corn that we've got right now, because we're going to need all kinds of feed for these cows this year. And with the bagging mod working out so well, I think what we'll be doing is trying to find a more convenient spot for those bags up here where we can keep the feed mixing going real easily. Now, how did I get this thing in here? I don't have a header trailer. Oh, I guess it kind of just fits. We'll take it. See if I can avoid hitting the telephone poles, though. I don't think that's going to be as friendly. And field 24 should be just down the road here on my left-hand side past our field. I can see the driveway there on the mini-map. Avoid taking out my mailbox for the 10th time this year. Now, the road sign up here, I don't make any promises, but we'll make an attempt. Oh yeah, we got it. We got it. Well, in that case, we should have probably had our flashers on. We'll get that going. And I got rid of the map. We'll bring that back up. I'm up here at the field with the combine, and I just need to double check. I think I set this. We're going to have the straw swath activated on this particular vehicle. And let's go ahead and create the job. Field work. I need course play, field work. Field position is here. Generate 3 headlands should be enough. We'll start on the headlands, and it looks like it's going to generate a lovely course where we've got nice long straight rows. So we'll go ahead and fire this guy up. Delete. Start at first. Go ahead. Do your thing. You do you, course play. I'm not too worried about it. It is a contract after all. And I'm just making sure. It looks like we are in straw swath dumping mode. And this straw will hopefully work with our TMR, is why I want to pick this up. And we'll get out here with a baler soon. However, first, let's go ahead and grab this tractor. We're going to go get the grain cart. Oats is not the most voluminous crop out there, so I'm hoping we've got some time to get all of our equipment out to that field before the combine starts filling up. And since it is so big, we are going to run out there with a grain cart. I think that's going to be worth our time on a huge field like that. Just make it a little bit easier running around. And then we'll have to get the semi all hooked up and switched over as well. Now, I think this is going to be easy enough for me to sneak in here and hook up. Perfect. We got this. Just don't want to rip the tines off of that field cultivator there, but not a problem. I think our order of operations here is going to be to get out there with the grain cart, go get the semi hooked up and brought out there, and then I'll come back and we'll grab this baler. I've got one hay bale left in there that was at 98%. I couldn't quite finish it off. I should have mowed some ditch grass to get it out of the baler. But I think when we jump out here to do the straw, either that bale will pop out or it'll get converted into a straw bale. I'm not quite sure how that's going to work out for us. Either way, we'll be getting a bale out of there, hopefully. And man, the combine's already 9% through this field, and I haven't even gotten out here with the grain cart. This harvesting contract might go a little bit faster than I expected. Man, it looks like he's a long way down here, and this headland is super curvy, so this is going to take us a minute to catch up. We've finally caught up. I'm not sure I've got enough headland here to follow him once we get around the curve up here, so I'm going to try my hardest to catch up right here and do it. We'll see if we can manage to unload the bulk of it before I hit this corner up here. Well, 87 bushels, nothing to sneeze at. And it looks like it's going to widen back out for us as soon as we get up and around the curve. So I'd like to get the rest of it out before the very end here. Oops, wrong buttons. Well, I think we've got all we're going to get out of there. A good deal. I'm going to leave this here for now while we run back over and grab the semi. We've got the Bison hooked up here to the Mack trailer. I think this is our best grain hauling semi. It's not the biggest, but I don't expect a lot of oats off of this field, maybe 1 or 2 loads. And this is the only trailer we've got with a tarp on it, so I think this is the choice truck for us to pick. Let's see if we can get down there without incident today. Now, because we haven't finished out the first headland pass, I don't actually have anywhere to park this thing yet. That's going to be a little inconvenient. I'm actually thinking about parking it on the road and just unloading up here on the road. That's probably what we're going to do. Where are we going to be taking these crops anyway? This says take the product to the grain mill. Of course, the grain mill seems to be the only point on the map here that I can't seem to identify. We're going to tag it this way and see if that'll help me find it. All right, it's over there. Well, that's good to know. That means I can probably take the other major road to get down there. So yeah, we're going to just leave this thing right up here off the side of the road, get it untarped, and we'll be over here to unload shortly. Looks like our combine's doing great over here. Taking the nice sharp corners with care. I appreciate that. 35%, he's got a ways to go. We'll take this opportunity to jump over here into our baling tractor and get it run out to the field as well. I think I'd like to get as many of these bales going as possible. We'll be picking them up with the pickup, and that's gonna hopefully help us with our feeding mechanic problem in that we don't have enough feed. And so if I can start adding in straw to the mix to get that TMR filled out a little bit with a apparently free bit of fodder here, that's gonna be a-okay in my books. I've made it out here with the baler and I have the course copied, so I'm gonna go ahead and fire it off. I don't know how we're at 19% of this field already when we haven't even finished the first headland pass, and it is absolutely ginormous. But that's what the contract readout says. I don't trust it one bit. And that bale did get converted to straw as I expected. That's alright, we'll live with that. And we're off to the races, so let's let this guy go. I guess it's time to jump over to the grain cart, and we'll try and run up here and see if I can catch up with that combine. We are now at 20%, and he's been going for a while. He's almost up to the corner of the field there. So I still don't understand the percentage makeup here, but it does look like it slowed down a little bit. I'll be curious to see if the percentage changes much if I deliver a load of grain up to the elevator. We'll be probably able to fill that semi up here pretty soon. By the time I catch up with this combine, it feels like it. We've got a lot of running around to do here. Well, we're catching up right as we get to the area where he's going to start his second headland pass. I might as well just wait until he gets moved over here. That's going to be the easiest thing for us to do, I think, rather than trying to weave in and out of these telephone poles for just a few feet. There we go. I should probably wait until I get to the corner too, but I'm not sure he's going to make it to the corner, to be honest. I'm not sure what this combine looks like fully loaded just yet. And it is the neighbor's oats. I don't want to be spilling the neighbor's crops on the ground. Nobody saw that. So yeah, the good news is definitely that we're not going to have a hard time keeping up with this combine since the oats don't seem to fill up very fast. And we will be able to go get the pickup truck next with the bale trailer. I can see we've already got a number of straw bales sitting out in the field here. Might as well just keep all the jobs going side by side. This thing doesn't unload the fastest though, so I'm gonna have to wait until it gets around this sharp curve before I can continue this job, I think. I do want to get the combine emptied out though before we head off for an extended period of time, like when we need to bring a new vehicle out to the field. Now these bales might start to be a problem. The other reason why I need to get them picked up, I probably should have waited to start putting them down until we had already made our headland passes. Oh, looks like the combine caught me ever so slightly. That's all right. We'll go ahead and navigate around. I think it's about empty, so we're gonna try and get out of the way here. I don't have enough to fill up the semi, so I'm not even gonna bother. We'll just park this guy here. And that makes it time to run out with the pickup truck. We'll get everything set up here, operating position, and see if we can get out there without jackknifing this trailer. I have a tendency to drive way too fast, and when you tap the brakes, this trailer's got a lot of weight to it, and it pushes this pickup truck all over the place. We're out here in one piece. I'm kind of curious exactly where that baler is. I haven't seen it in a minute. I suppose I'll just continue to follow around the field until I find it. Maybe it's already coming up behind us. I don't see it on the mini-map though. So that means it's not on the back part of this field, so it's still somewhere on the other side. Trying very hard not to put this thing into the creek. We did hit 27% of this field already, so I don't know why it's going so fast. At this rate, we're gonna be at, 75% just doing the 3 headlands, I feel like, but it is what it is. Maybe we'll have some leftover oats to put in the bin and sell on our own after we're all done with the harvest. I have to say, I kind of feel like getting this straw off of the field for free from the neighbor is gonna be enough bonus payment for me. I don't think maybe we'll hang on to any leftovers we have. Maybe we'll sell them straight up and just get the profit. I don't know, we'll see. We'll take a look at what the price is gonna be. If there's a big delta, we might get greedy. We do have a lot of debt to pay off after all. Well, we've been absolutely flying around this field at impossible speeds. Almost 50 miles an hour on the straightaway there, and I have not caught up with this baler yet, which is not concerning per se. It means he's doing a great job. It does mean he's going to catch up with the combine eventually though, which I don't think is a problem. I think he'll just follow along behind the combine at a hopefully safe distance. However, I was expecting to catch up with him by now. Oh, there he is. Well, that's good to know. He seems to be doing a great job, and since we are getting free straw off of a contract field, I don't think we're going to be coming back and cleaning up these parts on the hard corners. I think we're just going to live with the amount of bales we get. We're on the second headland pass now. I'm at 11 bales, almost 12. If I could catch up with him here, we'll get this 12 right as it drops off the back. So not doing too bad. We're going to get a few loads of straw off of this field, and we'll have to see how that works out in the TMR mix. But for now, I think what we'll do is go ahead and get this guy parked up here in the same way that we've got the grain cart here parked. I'm going to just pull it a little bit further off of the curb to be out of the way for sure. And we'll jump back in the grain cart and chase this combine around until he's filled us up enough to get that first load in the semi and off to the grain mill, wherever that might be. I've just come to the realization I don't even need to be keeping the grain cart moving. If I were to just park this semi out here on the field somewhere, I think I can just use the course play grain cart mode to automatically figure out how to do all the things. So we're gonna do just that. I'm gonna put this semi right here. It's on the field, so it should get detected. And if I run over here to the grain cart and we jump in here, I should be able to just tell it to go. Target is not in a field. Oh, here, I think I need to just move to here. And then target field position. There we go. Sometimes I just have to manually set that field position. Now that I have, I think it's going to go ahead and figure out how to get to the combine. We'll see, we'll see. I was really hoping it wasn't going to drive over the crops. It has avoid driving and fruit turned on. Maybe it'll figure it out here. We'll find out. It might be trying to come over here and unload into the truck, since we are pretty close to full, although it's not set to unload until it's over 85%. And I'm not quite there yet, so I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's just going to the starting point on the field that the combine is following, so we'll give it a minute to figure out if it can do this or not. Seems to be having some hard times turning with this tracked tractor for some reason. Yeah, it just went back to the start point to figure it all out. That's all right. And with the grain cart all set up, taking a look down here at the baler, it does look like he has done what we wanted, which is found a nice safe distance to follow, slowed himself down so we're not crashing into the combine. This seems to be working out great, and we're getting a fair amount of these straw bales dumped off here that we've been picking up with the trailer. Haven't gotten to a full trailer yet, but we'll keep working on it. And I think this is probably going to be a great place to wrap up today's episode. We've handled a lot of odd jobs here. We're a third of the way through this contract. We'll let this kind of go a little bit off camera. We'll catch up on it next episode and wrap this all up and keep moving that clock forward to get into our own silage harvest coming up here. I hope in August, maybe September. We'll find out. Either way, that's all for today. Ketterk out. So we're in a perfect spot here to, whoa, crash into a fence.